Shalom, 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 everyone. This is your favorite talk show host, Alex Himes, with the Ruckus. Seems like every week I'm talking about how great and happy I am to be back in Lexington. Well, now 2 weeks of school have started, come and gone. I don't know how I'm feeling about this still, but we're going to jump right into it. Today we're going to start with something that means a lot to me, and this date was June 17th, 2010. This was the most disgusting, bullcrap, heartbreaking, disastrous day in my life. My parents' divorce seemed minuscule in comparison, and that is the day Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers won their 16th title against my Boston Celtics. I tried rewatching the game, the highlights, everything for this story, but even to this day, watching those highlights still gets me, and I still slightly cried. So the Celtics had the game in their hands up until the fourth quarter, until a Laker turnaround, and this was capped off by, of all frickin' people, the man previously known as Ron Artest hitting the luckiest shot of his career. And Kobe Bryant had 23 points that night, and every one of those shots that he made looked more and more difficult than the last. He's been the man that's destroyed the hopes and dreams of other teams, and here he was doing it to my Celtics. Growing up in Los Angeles as a Boston sports fan was super difficult, trust me. I used to get yelled at and made fun of all the time for Boston sports teams, and just because I knew the fact that these teams, or at least my teams, were much better than theirs, I was okay with it. You know, being in Los Angeles with the team that your team is thoroughly hated by the most, and having to deal with those fans every day, pretty difficult. Trust me on that one. So, you know, you're stuck going to school every day hearing about how the Lakers were amazing and that nobody could stop them. And all while Boston was out in the East being LeBron's kryptonite. So I would constantly have arguments with a friend of mine. And this friend, his name is Omid Shamoil. And I'm sad to tell this story because he's a die-hard Laker fan still to this day, and I still talk to him every now and then, giving him crap about the Lakers and how the Celtics still own them. But he and I would constantly argue. We'd have arguments about the Celtics, the Lakers, Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins, anything. Anything about bashing LA teams or bashing Boston teams, he was about and I was about. And it was good banter. This brings me to the real heart of the problem, which was Kobe Bean Bryant. And on the day of Game 7, I made probably the dumbest mistake any cocky sports fan would ever make. At halftime, when the Celtics were up and the momentum was on their side, the air was out of the Staples Center, and the Lakers just looked deflated while the Celtics looked like they were about to get that next ring. And here we were at halftime with me stating, ha ha ha, the Lakers suck. The Celtics are going to get their 18th banner. Well, all it took was another hour and 40 minutes for this to change fate. And unfortunately, it changed to where the Celtics ended up losing to the Lakers in Game 7. And that was by far the hardest experience of my life as a Celtics fan, just because I ended up having to watch it. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking the Celtics are going to make the win. You know, there's 4 points left. It ended up being a 4-point game. And here I am now wondering, crap. I ended up crying at the end of that game. I cried so much so that my stepdad, who is a die-hard Laker fan, along with my mother, who is the Boston sports fan, the original Boston sports fan, I'd like to know, in my household, to sit next to me and tell me there was always next year. But I told them that it wasn't going to happen. And what happened? That was the last year the Celtics would make the finals because of LeBron James joining the Miami Heat. And there I was, stuck sitting there with Omid Shamoil, his face just reoccurring in my head, laughing, those eyes beating at me. Well, I grew up watching Kobe Bryant, and that was part of the 1-2 punch with him and Shaquille O'Neal. And there was no doubt in my mind that Kobe would break out of Shaq's shadow at one point and become his own man. And look what happened. Kobe had some of the best moments as a Laker. Probably is in my opinion, he's my favorite Laker of all time. I might be biased because I grew up watching him. He has 5 rings, so of course I'm going to have my own opinions. But my hate for Kobe Bryant, the player, was fueled and ignited by that 2010 loss. And it will probably never die. Don't get me wrong, it will probably never die. But at the end of the day, he deserves both of those numbers to be retired, number 8 and number 24. And I couldn't be happier for him. I love Kobe Bryant. I respect him. And that legend knows no bounds.